Hi there, my name is Megan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my July TBR. In the month of July, I'm actually going to be traveling quite a bit, so I'm not going to be using my TBR jar for this because I want to pick specific books that I can take with me on vacation, and I know that I will read and not kind of get into a reading slump or have books that I know I'm going to end up not wanting to read. So these are all books that I know I want to read and that I'll be able to get through in the month of July. So let's get on into it. The first book I'm going to be picking up is Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I just hauled this book and I'm going to be continuing on with the Stormlight Archives in August, so I wanted to definitely get in Warbreaker before I continued on with the Stormlight Archives because I know that this book kind of ties into the Cosmere, and if there's any nuggets in that series, I don't want to miss them because I haven't read Warbreaker, and this is actually a much shorter book than I thought it was originally, so I think I'll be able to get through it really quickly, and I also have it on hold for audio at my library. The next book I'm going to be reading is Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel. This is the second book in the Themis Files, which is an adult science fiction book. I just read Sleeping Giants in June and I gave it 5 stars, and I'll go ahead and link my review, spoiler free, up in the cards if you're interested in checking that out. But this is a series that I really liked. It's told in interview format, but our interviewer is part of the plot, and it is about a girl who discovered this giant metallic hand in a hole in the earth when she was a child, and after some analysis by the US government, it was determined that this was part of an alien robot. And the first book took a look at all the people that were involved in this project and building this robot and piloting this robot and trying to figure out what exactly it did. And there was this really massive cliffhanger at the end of book 1 that I really don't know how it's going to fit into the plot, so I'm really anxious to see how the story continues. The next book I'm going to be reading is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is a young adult fantasy series, and I just read An Ember in the Ashes in June and ended up really enjoying it. But in this story, we follow kind of like a Roman-inspired world that's very violent and very brutal, and we have an elite kind of military society that oppresses a scholar-slave society. And in this story, we follow 2 perspectives. We follow Elias, who is part of that soldier society, and he goes to this very prestigious soldiering school. Then we follow a girl named Laya, who is part of the scholar society, and she takes on the role of a slave in order to infiltrate the soldier society and ends up meeting Elias, and their paths kind of crossed, and the story goes from there. So I definitely, like I said, like the first book, and I'm really eager to get into the next 2 books in the series, so I will be all caught up for book 4 when it comes out in a couple months. The next book I want to read is Legion of Flames by Anthony Ryan. This is the second book in the Draconis Memoria Series, which is an adult high fantasy series. And I read the first book, Waking Fire, last year, I think it was, and really liked it. And I've been meaning to continue on with this series because I want to finish it in 2020. But in this world, dragons exist and they are hunted and harvested for their blood. And there are different color dragons, and each different dragon blood gives people a unique ability. And the dragons have been becoming more and more rare with regards to hunting them and killing them. So a team is hired to hunt this infamous white dragon because the white dragon's blood is known to have prophetic abilities. So I really liked the first book, and I don't want to spend too much time not reading the second book because I don't want to forget too much, but it's definitely a series that I highly recommend if you like high fantasy, especially if you liked Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy. I think that there's a lot of similarities with regards to the dragons and that kind of thing. And lastly, I'm going to be reading A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what this book is now, but it's a prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy, which I read years and years ago, and I'm kind of nervous going into this. I don't really know what to expect. It follows President Snow, who is, I guess, one of the villains of the original trilogy, even though I think that he was more just like a figurehead, because I think that the main conflict or main villain in that story was definitely the society and Panem itself. I don't think it was necessarily President Snow, but I'm really interested to see his story and how he became how he is and why he made the decisions he did in the original trilogy. So I'm very highly anticipating this, and I'm hoping that I love it. Alright guys, so those are the 5 books that I plan on reading in the month of July. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so by hitting that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new content. I post videos every Sunday, and sometimes I post bonus videos in the middle of the week. And I will see you guys soon with another one. Goodbye!